The thing that kept me going, which is, I think it's applicable for pretty much everybody, is like, if somebody can do it, so can you kind of thing. And like I said, that sounds trite and it's cliche, but it's so true. Like literally, if it's possible, and many people have proven that it is, I feel like, everybody can do it. So it's just like, do the things that work, and you just got to trust the process.
Cameron, I'm so excited to have you on here today, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. And I love just meeting people in our community. So tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and kind of how you got started in real estate investing.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. My name is Cameron Moore. I'm in Orlando, Florida, so that's our market. We're doing about 3 to 5 flips a month now, pretty consistently. Been doing real estate for about 2-ish years. Got into it, I was in college, was going to go to med school, decided that wasn't for me, started getting into it, found some partners, and now we're rocking and rolling 2 years later, doing 3 to 5 a month, pretty much in the Central Florida area, probably looking to expand a little bit from there, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at now.
I can't believe you're in like the most expensive place to live, right, in the United States?
I think we just got that title not too long ago. So yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and to see that you just got started with us 2 months ago and how far you've already come, I already have questions lined up for you on your partners and stuff like that. But how did you really get to get into the real estate? Can you dig a little bit more of like why you decided not to go to med school and you decided to go this route instead?
Yeah, sure. So, with medical school, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar, but it's a 4 years. You have to get your bachelor's, and then after that, you go to 4 years for medical school, and then there's residency and all this, this long process. Well, it wasn't, I didn't want to go to school for another, 8 years. I wanted to do something that was kind of like on my terms and kind of, build the lifestyle that I guess that I wanted. Found real estate, started doing the whole wholesaling thing. Pretty much just kind of trying to make it on my own. Then found some partners through that, and now we partnered, and now we're primarily fixing and flipping. We still wholesale some, but most of the ones were taken down, wholesaling or fixing and flipping. So that was kind of the transition. Started on my own, found them while I was in school, and then went full time once I graduated.
How did you find them? Did you find them at like a local real estate investing group or something like that, or Bigger Pockets?
Yeah, so it was just through the community. I think it was at a local, like a RIA or something. Pretty much just talking to everybody. I had a mutual friend who knew these couple guys. We kind of just got together. To be honest, when I first started, I was trying to meet everyone and their mother. Like seriously, that was like my goal, to try to network as much as possible. Just because I'm like, hey, here's what I want to do. Trying to tell as many people about it as possible, and then you could kind of, it compounded from there. And so I found these guys that I aligned a lot with. And so we started to form a partnership and started to build from there.
Now, just so people, I think partnerships sometimes scare people because you're having to rely on, one or two other people for your business.
Right.
How did you guys outline the responsibilities and kind of make sure that everyone knew like what their part was so that there wasn't much headbutting?
Definitely. And that's super important and really crucial that you even said that, because I completely agree. With partnerships, it's kind of tough because, ideally everybody brings something to the table that the other person doesn't have, right? And so I decided that, I wanted to focus on acquisitions, and I was getting halfway decent at acquisitions. Well, if I wanted to fix and flip, I didn't have the resources to, fund the flips, and then also do the project management. So we kind of had a cohesive group where everybody brought their own, skill set, and we all partnered together. So I'm pretty much acquisitions, and then they fill in the blank for me in other areas.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And do you guys have a formal contract with each other of what things go on, or is it just kind of like a very basic, like understood thing?
It started off understood, and then just for legality reasons, yeah, we do now.
Okay.
But we're tight. We trust each other. And it's not something honestly that I recommend everybody just jump into a partnership. You want to make sure that you guys have like an aligned vision, but it could definitely help you. You could definitely grow a little bit quicker if they're helping you out with things you're not as good at.
And why change from, I guess, wholesaling to fix and flips? Like, what was that shift for you? Why was that a shift?
So a lot of it, to be honest with you, was completely market dependent. Market's red hot here. I mean, as it is pretty much everywhere. But I just, running the numbers, I saw that, an average 25K assignment fee could turn into, 75K if I took it down and fixed it ourselves. So it's like, the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that model was a lot more, sustainable for us, just because I don't want to have to rely on, doing 10 deals a month with a 20K assignment fee where I could just do 5, make 40, things like that. And so pretty much market dependency. It's kind of just how it was. The numbers were there.
Now it sounds like you have someone that's doing the project management side of things, but could you tell me what maybe are maybe 2 or 3 things you've learned from just getting into flipping that maybe would help someone else before they dive in?
Yeah, definitely. So I will say that I've done every part of the transaction,
Okay.
From A to Z, from buying to, doing the project management to doing the funding, all that sort of thing. So I do know the whole process. So the flipping part is a whole nother business, a whole nother beast in and of itself. Like that's something that, a lot of people I feel like it's not as talked about as much, because I feel like acquisitions is like sexy, like it's the fun, cool part of the business. Right. And, which, don't get me wrong, I think it's obviously like the most important. Without acquisitions, you don't have a business.
Right.
But when it comes to doing the actual construction and the flipping, having good GCs is insanely hard. Keeping good GCs is insanely hard. Everybody's, super busy. And if you find a good one, they're probably booked or they're going to overcharge you, things like that. So just having people to do the work is probably the most important thing. Secondly, I mean, obviously, COVID screwed a couple things up with like the supply chain. So like ordering resources and getting materials, things like that is a pain. And then every single time you're doing a flip, something comes up. That's just how it is, right? Nothing ever goes to plan completely. That's just part of the game. But so learning how to, put out fires and just kind of like, deal with the punches is the name of the game with that. So my, piece of advice to somebody that's looking to get into flipping, if you don't have any like project management experience or don't know the actual construction side of things, I would maybe look to partner with somebody, or at least shadow, kind of get some sort of feel for what's going on in that realm, because wholesaling is completely different than flipping.
Yeah.
Although it's like the same quote unquote business model, more or less, the actual construction and flipping side is a different beast.
I give you so much props because we redid this little room and I was like, I don't want to flip ever, just because doing this little room, I was like, this is a pain in the ass. Like,
Yeah.
and then I'm like,
Absolutely.
you guys are
Absolutely.
taking down walls, you're repaving, you're doing all this other stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know if I would have to partner. I would have to have someone else.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to swing a hammer, so that's just not my forte. Let other people do that. But yeah, I'm on the same page as you. It's a different beast.
Oh my gosh, I give you mad props. So I know you said you're flipping. Are you holding any of these as well to build up a portfolio, or are you just mainly focusing on the flips right now?
So we are getting there. We'll probably hold a couple of the ones that we have under contract right now, which will be the first ones. But it's one of those things that I know in a few years I'll probably be kicking myself. But some of the prices being offered right now is just like, it's hard to turn down, especially when you're building the company. You're at the beginning phases. You want to get some cash on hand. It's hard to turn down some of these deals. And so, like I said, in 3 years, 4 years from now, I'll be kicking myself because I'm like, man, if only, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Right? But we'll probably try to start holding a few of them here, if we can, have enough discipline to do so.
Yeah, totally get it. Again, I mean, you guys just came out as the most expensive place to live. So, I mean, those numbers probably do look really good right now.
Right. Oh, yeah. Some of the ones, I mean, pretty much every flip we do is selling over ask. So, I mean, it's hard to turn that stuff down.
For sure. And I'm sorry to like go back again, but one thing that a lot of people get, I want to know, how was your reaction from your support system when you said, I don't want to go into medical school, I want to go into real estate investing? Because I know how my family would probably react if that was me, but I feel like that happens a lot in this industry when people are like, doing this corporate job that, is secure, and then they want to do this and they get some pushback. Like, how did you navigate that, or what was the response there?
So that's a really good question, and I feel like that's not talked about enough. But so yeah, I went all the way through. Like I took my MCAT and everything, which is like the test you
Holy.
get in medical school. So I was right there, and like it's tough to get in medical school, but like I could have gotten in to a few I know. And so telling my mom that was that was tough. It was tough at first. She does believe in me and she trusts me and that sort of thing. So it's not like she doesn't believe that I'm be successful or whatever the case may be. But it's definitely it is tough because they kind of have this whole okay, well, I already know what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life kind of thing, and it's safe, it's secure, it's a good job. So taking a risk on yourself is it's not easy, and your support group, I'm sure like many are not going to be the most supportive, but you kind of got to just trust yourself. And I know it's cliche, but if you bet on yourself, I'm confident in myself. And so even if I do fail, I'll feel 10 times better failing on myself than I would if I just stuck to the normal path I know I didn't like. So that was my mindset with that.
I mean, you have only this one life and you don't want to regret anything that you end up choosing to do. So I love that. Are they seeing you now though? And they're kind of like, oh, I mean, do you feel like there's more acceptance of this now?
Yeah. It took a while. Because I mean, the thing that's also not talked about too is like people think that they'll just get into wholesaling and start making these fat $40,000 checks. I struggled, man, for a long time. Like the first 2 years was just like it was an uphill battle. It really was. We're just now starting to see some consistency. So I mean, my family the whole time is like, hey, you're dropping out of med school more or less to go do this, to do what? Okay. Um, so it's fine. They're finally coming around, and I can't blame them or anything. But it's just I knew where we're going, and I had faith in it. So it's finally coming around, which is nice.
And I love that you talked about, and you're right, it's not talked about enough of like, it is struggling too in the beginning. It's not just like those big checks that just come in and it's just going to be magical for the first, I mean, it's hard work. And I think sometimes it comes off as that it's easier. So what would you say, could you kind of talk about those first 2 years? Like, what were those stumbling points and how did you keep going? I know you said you're very confident in yourself, and that's great. But sometimes, even then, like, I feel like we have some of those down moments. Like, how did you just be like, no, I have to pick myself back up?
Yeah. So at the beginning, I mean, it was just doing the same, boring things in, day out, and not really seeing any results. The thing that kept me going, which is, I think it's applicable for pretty much everybody, is like if somebody can do it, so can you, kind of thing. And like I said, that sounds trite and it's cliche, but it's so true. Like literally, if it's possible, and many people have proven that it is, I feel like everybody can do it. So it's just like do the things that work, and you just got to trust the process. And it almost sounds, it's cheesy to say that, but it is true. So it's like if you know that you'll get there eventually, and if you have the idea of where you want to go, kind of deal, I think it's worth it. And for me, I'm like, listen, I have to try and at least see this through to some sort of like degree before I can just give up, because I know it's possible. I literally had friends and I knew other people that were doing it and succeeding. So I was like, if they can do it, so can I. But no, it was not easy. I mean, there's many days where I'm like, what in the hell am I doing? Like literally just no after no after no. But then once you get, a couple deals under your belt, you're like, okay, proof of concept's there. Let's just keep doing that, keep growing from there. And it is a compound effect. It really is. Once you start getting a few, they start rolling over, you get more confidence in yourself, and then it kind of just builds from there.
And I feel like you just continue to learn. I don't feel like there's one deal that you're not learning something new from. So I love
Always.
that. Now, going into your journey with DealMachine, I didn't realize you started only 2 months ago. So that's really exciting because it sounds like you literally hit the ground running. So could you kind of talk about that and how you started with us and like leading up to your first deal?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, prior to DealMachine, I had done multiple deals, so it's not like I went into it being completely brand new. I had a pretty good idea of how to go about it, but I literally started 2 months ago. And as of right now, we had one that just closed. It was a $55,000 assignment fee. Um, Another one that I'm closing on. It's in probate, so I'll be closing on that one soon. That'll be a flip. Numbers are looking probably in like the mid 60s, maybe low 70s on that one. And then I have a couple more that I'll probably get locked up here in the next, couple weeks, let's say. And that's from Deal Machine. Truly, like honest to God, that is from driving, seeing a property, and I think that was from direct mail. So it is absolutely doable, and not it truly does work. I mean, I look at it like this: I would rather spend all of my money on properties that we see fit our criteria, and they're like, okay, that's blatantly obvious that it needs to be fixed, right?
Right.
And so that's where the confidence comes in for me. It's like I'll spend marketing dollars on that all day long. And so it literally just, it works. It does work. And it's like, I don't want to come on here and be like, oh yeah, Deal Machine. If like, I'm being honest, like it does work. And it's something that's super scalable as well. That's what kind of really intrigued me. It's like, okay, let's say that I want to go start this in another market tomorrow. I can literally start having a driver drive literally tomorrow. And it's like the same systems and processes work here. They work everywhere. Because if you see distressed real estate, highly likely, your chances go up drastically that they want to sell, right? Or that there's some sort of issue or something like that. So it's like, I'd rather be targeting those people versus, the people that have the Taj Mahal. Like it just makes sense. So that's pretty much where we're at. I'm super excited to start scaling it up even more, probably start hiring a couple of drivers and then just continuing going from there.
Now, I have to ask, how many properties are you adding a week, and are you the only one driving?
So I'm actually not driving. We have a driver right now.
Awesome.
So they're adding 1,000 a week. So 1,000 a week. And like, people may think that that's like a lot, but I'm gonna be honest. Like once you guys start getting out there and start doing it, you'll realize like it's very doable. It really is, especially if you start getting in some areas that like, are where you want to really invest. And like, there's a lot of, more rundown properties. It's definitely feasible. So you just need to be consistent with it. And the biggest thing that I've learned throughout pretty much my whole career here in real estate, which has been short, but if you're going to do something, like you have to be consistent. I know it's like talked about all the time, but just because you send, a batch of letters or you cold call some people and it doesn't work for the first time, you got to stay on it and keep building it, because once you turn it off, like that's when the deals stop. And so we consistently, stayed on it, hit that 1,000 a week, no ifs, ands, or buts. And then it works, like the numbers are there. So once you get the numbers, you got to trust them. And so for us, it's about 1,000 leads a week, and that's pretty much what we're hitting now. We'll probably start to scale that up because we want to start doing, a little bit more than 3 to 5 a month. So that's kind of where we're at right now, only with one driver. So that's that.
Well, I haven't even said this yet, but congratulations on all the success you've had in the last like 2 months. That's so amazing. And I love hearing that, because that's the reason why I joined Deal Machine as an employee, and why I like my 9 to 5 is because I get to see like how it helps like people like you who are wanting to do this and build this financial freedom for themselves. And I love that. So first off, huge congratulations, because I know you worked your butt off to do all of that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And it wasn't like, that's the thing too, just to like clarify, is like, I really appreciate that. But it was hard. Like it was really hard. And like, I don't want to get on here and just like, oh, look at me. Ha ha. Like, like it's easy. Like it's not. But it is worth it. And I really enjoy it. But I truly believe that like anybody out there can do it and replicate it. Like I mean that, which is wild to say, but like, I do mean that. It's just have the systems and processes and just trust it.
And we are not paying Cameron, just so everyone is aware. I will give him some swag, but no payment is happening.
And honestly, like I'll be straight up with you. I've tried everything under the sun, so it's like I'm not going to come on here and just say, oh yeah, go Deal Machine if it's not working. Like I'll show. We have the HUDs, right? It's working. So
one thing that I know someone's going to ask is, how do you pay your driver? I'm sure Krista, if you work with Krista or Carly or whoever you're working with, has told you different ways, but what has worked for you with this one driver to keep them consistent?
Yeah. So we pay them, we want them to feel, incentivized and feel like they're a part of the team too. And it's like, I'd rather have somebody that wants to grow with the company. So it's not just like having to rehire somebody, every week. So right now we're paying them 20 an hour. And then, throw them some gas money for the week if they hit their numbers. And then obviously, each deal that they bring in, we throw them a little stipend there.
Oh, I love that. And now I will say that'll just work wonderful for you. We have drivers for DealMachine actually that have driven for us for $20 an hour. And they've been with us for like 2 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
Like they like it. They like it. And I'd rather, I look at it like this. It's like I'd rather spend a little bit more. I mean, okay, look, let's say $15 an hour versus 20 an hour. But like if they feel, like they're part of the team, they're part of the culture, and they'll grow with us, I'll do that all day long.
Now, how did you find this driver? Is this someone you already knew, or how did you find them?
Yeah, it was somebody I already knew. So that was easier on that part. And I'll probably just, kind of go from there when I kind of look to expand, is because I feel like there's a lot of people that would like to get into real estate. And so find the ones that are like young, hungry, and looking to kind of grow with you and kind of just go from there.
I love that. I want to be very aware of your time, but I'd love to still check in though, like, in the next couple of months or something like that, to just see how you guys are doing, where you guys are at. And just, I miss,
Absolutely.
I'm jealous of Krista and Carly because they get to talk to customers more often. This is my one like branch, and I used to be doing what they did. So I love this. So please definitely keep in touch of what's happening and how we can help.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd love to. Hopefully next time we talk, we're doing double the amount of deals we're doing now.
Hey, listen, I would love that. And I already know that that's going to happen. I bet you next time I talk to you, you're going to have just like a slew of drivers. You're going to be adding like 3,000 to 4,000 a week.
Whole army. Yeah, that's the plan.
Whole army. Now you did say, okay, I have one more question. They keep coming up. You did say it would be easy to go into another market like this. Like you could easily replicate this. Is that something you're wanting to do? Like I guess that leads into a question of like, where do you see your business going in the next like 5 years?
Yeah, so I do want to eventually move into multiple markets. We have done a few deals outside of just Central Florida. I've done some in like Ormond Beach, Daytona. I had one in Jacksonville. But I also believe that, there's always, I feel like people jump markets too soon. I feel like you can always go deeper in the market you're in. So I really want to try to maximize that to the best of our ability. And then once I feel confident in that, then maybe start looking to move to multiple markets. Probably stay in Florida for the time being, but you never know. But to answer your question, in 5 years, yes, I'd like to be in multiple markets. But first I want to make sure that we're doing the best we can here in Orlando.
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, I go to Orlando every year, so maybe I'll hit y'all up when I'm in Orlando.
Hit me up.
I'm a Harry Potter freak, so I got to go to Harry Potter World.
I live 15 minutes away, so that sounds good.
That's like a dream. Awesome. Well, thank you again for being on here. And Cameron, if you need anything, please let me know. My work phone's on my signature. Happy to text or whatever if you need anything. But I know you already are in good hands with your elite team.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was nice chatting with you.
You too. Have a good one.